Hello, today I'll be showing you how to get your 1cc in Crimzon Clover's Arcade Original mode. I'm using the Type Z ship here. Type Z is the easiest ship to work with, it's the fastest, has a very large spread, has a lot of power to it. So this should be a good ship to use. Here in Stage 1, I play fairly aggressively. My goal for this run is, since I'm doing a survival run, but I do want to reach the 450,000 star extend. So I play fairly aggressively here in Stage 1 only for the reason that I want to try to maximize my star count by the end. This will make things easier later on in the game where I don't have to worry about implementing scoring strategies to increase my star count. Here I go into double break. Going into double break really bumps up your star count since you can reach that 12.8 multiplier. And here I'm just weaving back and forth, getting max multipliers when I can. Taking care not to get too close to the ships, but for all these big ships I make sure I get a maximum multiplier. And then here you're going to get four waves of enemies with two of the big pods and a tank on the bridge. This one just takes practice to get the rhythm of it, of staying close to the middle one, releasing the lock on here. And then for the fifth one here, I activate break, I do a max lock on, and then I hang out in the middle here, activate double break, and then I just hang out. I hold the shot button. There's no need to move here if you have double break on. All the enemies are going to just die until your break runs out. So I'm keeping an eye on my break meter. It's about finished, so now I clean up the rest of these enemies as fast as possible, since I still have a pretty good multiplier active. And now it's a matter of mopping up these tanks and ships before they have a chance to fire on me. Streaming slowly back and forth. The bullets here are still fairly slow, so it's not too much trouble here. And then here I get another max lock on, and then you'll have another last little rush of ships that come towards you. So I stream a little bit to the right, clean them all up, and now we're here to the Stage 1 boss. So this boss, I'm going to use a double break. You can destroy the two parts on the sides for more star counts, but to keep it straightforward, I just immediately activate double break, and I hold my focus shot so that I have my full lock on, and I'm going to use at the very end to get a max multiplier. And stream back and forth here, and with the power of the Type Z ship, that boss won't even make it to the second pattern before I get that lock on off, so I get the max multiplier kill, which gives me a shower of stars. And you'll see that I have 76k stars, which is a pretty good amount to end Stage 1 with. And I choose the energy upgrade so that I can be closer to break for the start of Stage 2 to make things easier. Start of Stage 2, I hang out to the right here, hold my lock on shot, and I get a full lock on here. I'm still working to increase my star count little by little. And I weave back and forth, I get another lock on here. Stage 2 is tricky. If you find yourself overwhelmed at this beginning part, and that's why, again, the energy upgrade helps, so you can activate break or bomb whenever you need to. Definitely don't be afraid to bomb. The bomb mechanic is fairly generous in this game, where you have your bomb meter, and the meter increases when you use a bomb, so the requirement of using your next bomb is a bit harder, but since there are so many enemies on screen, unless your bomb meter is at the very top, it shouldn't be too hard to always have a bomb available to use. Instead, I use a double break. A double break is, I think of, as almost screen clearing towards the beginning of the game, just because of how powerful the Type Z ship is. Not much can stand in the way when you have a double break on, so that's why I like using it. The disadvantage of using it is that you can't bomb out of it, so just be careful and be mindful of that. Here we're at the mid-boss. I weave through the patterns here, and then I stick in the gaps here. The bullets are slow enough that as long as you don't move too frantically, you won't get hit. And here I just go slowly from the left to the right. You'll see the two strings of bullets that are aimed at you, and then the boss switches pattern here. At the very edge, you can either you can either break, or if you have some room, you can cut back. I decided to not break until the very end here, just because I get a little greedy here and I want to get a multiplier here. I tried aiming for the 12.8 multiplier, but I didn't get it. Another good reason I like double breaking here is that it makes this next rush right after the mid-boss much easier, similar to the rush in stage 1 where you can just hang out into the near the bottom of the screen. Here we're approaching the minecart section. This can get a little bit frantic, especially if you don't have a break, so don't be afraid to use a bomb if you need to. The goal here is to destroy the minecarts as fast as possible, because there are a lot of tanks and that are aboard those minecarts that'll just shoot a barrage of aimed bullets at you, and sometimes it can wall you off. There I get extremely lucky. If my break didn't run out, I would have taken a hit, so I've been pretty fortunate there. Here we're approaching the end, the last set of minecarts, same as before. Destroy the carts as fast as possible. If we were playing for score, I would wait until the carts set off those mines into the air, and I would milk those mines, but I'm not too worried about that right now. So we're approaching the second boss. I have 125k stars, so I have my third extend here. This boss, I routed it so that I'll have a double break by the second phase so I can speed kill it. A good secret about this boss is that the more parts you destroy on the boss, then the more bullets the boss fires from the middle. You'll see the red bullets that will be coming out soon. I don't intentionally destroy the boss parts, but just due to me using my lock-on shot, some of the parts will get destroyed. But the more you do destroy, then the more aggressive those small red bullets will come at you. So it's a good idea if you're playing for survival, you're just looking to speed kill, just to concentrate on the core of the boss here. As soon as those purple bullets are going to rain down on me, I activate double break, and then this double break is going to last me until the end of the boss. And so here, it's much easier this phase because I don't have too many parts that are destroyed, and the boss is only going to be able to fire off 2 barrages of those bullets before my double break kills it. Here again, I pick up the energy upgrade. I like having the higher amount of energy at the start of the level. That way, if I need to bomb immediately, I can. Or with the initial rush of enemies, I can have a break mode, which will get me a screen clear. So it gives me a little bit more flexibility. Start of stage 3, I hang out to the right. I get a full lock on here. It's actually easier to kill these enemies with a full lock on, and it's easier to kill those pods at the top with a full lock on when you're close to them. If you shoot them when they're far away, they shoot revenge bullets at you. Or not at you, but they shoot purple bullets in the air. So it's easier to kill them with the full lock on. Here I activate break, and then I weave back and forth to kill each of these ships. I stay fairly close because I don't want those ships to fire at me, because it can get pretty tricky with those ships firing at you and with the insects on the left side. Here with this big ship, it can get a little bit tight, but you just weave through those bullets there and destroy it. And here's another case where I decide not to destroy those with the full lock on up close, but you can see all those purple bullets raining down. It can get kind of tricky, so this is a good place to bomb or break if you need to. Here's an example where if I destroy these with the full lock on up front, they don't shoot anything at me, so it's a good way to dispatch those. Now we're approaching the start of the third mid-boss, which this is a tricky point for many players trying to dodge these, and the key is to figure out when to cut back. You can either cut back or you can either break. When you're breaking, use the time that you're invulnerable to sweep around and destroy as many of those bugs as possible. And then here you can double break. Double breaking with type Z, I just melt this boss. By the time my double break is over, I destroyed the boss. And so now we're into the second half of stage 3. This is a common choke point for many players. One thing you can do is you can hang out on the very right side of the screen here, hold your focus shot, and then release it very quickly so that you can destroy the mushroom pods or the pods on the ground there, so that those purple bullets won't hit you. As long as you stay here, you're completely safe. the pods floating in the air will not shoot at you. And since you're on the right side where the insects would normally spawn, you kill them before they even get on the screen. Here we have a big ship. Here it gets a little tight, especially if you don't kill the pods that bring down the purple bullets. But I'm in break mode, so I destroy that ship and I hang out in the middle to destroy the rush of pods. And we're here into the next section. So here I'm going to start on the left, slowly go to the right, and quickly sweep to the left here, and then I creep along the bottom so that I can destroy those, and then you'll see an opening here. Go back to the left here. I'm going to push forward all the way to the top, go down, down, down to avoid those purple aimed bullets, and then slowly to the right where it gets a little tight, but if you do that, that is very consistent. So now here with the snakes, I go towards the top of the screen and make full use of the real estate I have here. Creep along the side here, a planned break, and then now that they're all clustered in, I use the firepower to destroy all three of them at the same time. Now this is a fairly challenging part, so this is why I save a double break for this portion. Like I said, a double break is sort of like a continuous screen clear with how powerful Type Z is. But it's important that before these medium ships come that you destroy those insects on the branches, so that you can speed kill those ships. Here it gets very tight, but I'm hanging out towards the left of the screen because once the very large mushroom comes, I'm going to creep over to the right, activate break to get it in roll, and then destroy those there. And then I'm hanging out to the right because those insects that appear on the branch on the right can sort of pick you off. So I make sure to destroy them before they shoot at me. I've died many times getting hit by those sniper insects, I call them. So now we're at the stage 3 boss. My break meter is pretty good, so I'm gonna hang out in the middle when the boss pops up, use as many lock-on shots as possible, and then just find the gaps. So you start on the left, and move to the right, there's a gap that appears here, I follow the boss slightly, and then here you can either break bomb or dodge it. I typically dodge this pattern. I decided to break, but I activated it too early and then messed up my timing, so I took a hit. Here is a bit challenging because you have to both dodge the spread and dodge the very slow blue bullets. So here, do not be afraid to bomb if you need to. It's not worth taking another death here at this point. And now we're getting to the around the world pattern. The more petals you destroy in this boss, the more blue bullets that appear on the screen during this pattern. So I've destroyed quite a few. It's a trade-off because the more you destroy here, the part of this pattern becomes. However, the shorter the amount of time you need to then dodge the next barrage of bullets. So I decided to go for that, take my chances to dodge around the world. And now the boss phase is almost finished, so I don't have to dodge that spread, which I find more challenging. Now for the third phase of the boss, you're going to go all the way at the top of the screen, but you can keep firing on it. And I have a double break, so I'm going to take advantage here and then destroy the boss. Having a double break for this portion makes it very easy. You can use the invulnerability frames to buy yourself some time and do a lot of damage. Here I decided to go for the star count just because I wanted that extra life. I took a hit, so I wasn't too happy about that, but I have 3 extends still, so I'm feeling pretty good. At the start of stage 4, I don't have any break meter, so I need to get a break towards the end of the first rush coming up, otherwise they typically corner you. So I get a full lock on these ships, and then here is the initial rush. So now that I have a full lock on, that multiplier allows my break meter to fill quickly, so that by the time I get to the edge of the screen and I know I'm going to get walled off, I activate break, clear the bullets out, and then I use the power to just speed kill these enemies that are coming up short. With these large V-ships or destroyers, you can strafe to the side slightly. Here I go all the way to the top left corner of the screen because these pods shoot revenge bullets that are aimed right at you. And I just go back and forth slowly, activate break, make this last wave a bit easier to destroy. So now we get to the next part. I go slowly to the left, destroy those ships, and then I hang out right at the boundary where the clouds are, and I move slowly to the left so that those ships won't gang up on me. Some of them escape and they shoot bullets at you, but that's okay. Now for these portions, I only focus on dodging between the gaps of the pink bullets. Although the blue bullets are aimed at you, they travel slow enough that as long as you're traveling or streaming slowly between the gaps of the pink ones, they're not going to hit me. So I go here, I get hit there, but just right between the pink ones. And then for this part, you can hang out to the side to dodge the lasers, and then right in the middle there, it's very consistent. Once you get it down, this part will be easy. Now for these ships are going to encircle me. So the key is I try to spread out the damage as much as possible. In Arcade Original, these patterns are in a fixed shape, and even though there are more of these ships on screen, it's actually easier the more there are. And so I try to spread my damage, and the key is to not panic. The bullets are small enough that the gaps are pretty good to navigate through. Once it gets to around 3 or 2 left, then it gets tricky based on the positioning and how the lasers are positioned. So you definitely want to try to kill them as fast as possible. Here I'm intentionally not using brake. I'm saving my brake for the mid-boss, which I find much more challenging. And so for the mid-boss, I start in the bottom right, I creep down all the way to the left, creep all the way up, the screen's going to follow me, back around this way, and then I go all the way down. I go slowly, slowly, slowly. Once I get towards the bottom, I activate brake, and then I activate double brake because I want to, before the screen scrolls back up, destroy this phase as fast as possible. Easier said than done. But once this is done, when the screen scrolls up, then I'm in a position to quickly dispatch the second phase based on the screen position. So the timing in this is everything, and the double brake really helps. I hang out at the top of the screen because where those the bonuses spawn, it's in a really awkward position. And so since I don't want to get caught out of position, I just hang out there and I get the gauge, the energy upgrade. Here is the second rush of stage 4, which is also pretty challenging. I was in a weird spot with where those revenge bullets were, so I'm forced to up brake mode. And here we have these quadruplos that are going to come in at first one at a time, and then we're going to get 2 at the end. If you don't destroy them fast enough, they will keep spawning in, so it's important to destroy them quickly, but you'll always get 2 at the same time at the end here, which is a common place to either bomb or break, just for consistency, less of a risk that way. And then for the very final rush, I don't hang out in the middle because I don't want to get picked off by a bullet, but I don't hang out at the edge because then I won't destroy the enemies on the far left end fast enough. Alrighty, stage 4 boss. First try to destroy the leftmost turret here. I don't really do that, so I creep along the right. I end up destroying the pod in the middle. Since that wasn't what I wanted to destroy first, I end up bombing, and then I creep along the edge here. I don't want to destroy that left pod again, because then they're gonna, right now it's not shooting at me, but if I destroy it a second time, it'll shoot rings of red bullets that make it very difficult. You can see I destroy it now, but I managed to end the phase before it got a little bit too tricky. Here for the second phase, the boss will bring up regenerating turrets. The turrets selected are completely random, and I get very lucky here because the ones that are easiest for survival are the spiral ones. Once you get a spiral one, you can hang out on the other side, and I'm just staying on the same side and destroying the turrets with my lock-on shot, not moving too much as long as I stay on the other edge of the screen. The spread from the spiral bullets is slow enough that I can dodge it easily, so I got lucky there. Sometimes you get an unlucky formation, which is difficult. Here, you're going to have a whole bunch of mines spawn. Activate brakes so that those bullets don't get me, and then if you don't have another brake, you bomb, you brake, you bomb, you do whatever you need to do to end this phase as fast as possible. That way you don't take a hit. Definitely not worth it here, right before stage 5. So here I can't pick up an energy upgrade because I'm still in break, so I'm not really sure. At this point I wasn't clear if my bomb meter was at the lowest point, but I pick it up anyways just in case. It's important to have your bomb meter as low as possible for stage 5. So stage 5, I'm hanging out on the left here, and it'll be important. This is where like the routing gets a bit more strict with the way these ships are appearing. And so I go from the left to the right here, 1, 2, and then destroy those. I'm a bit out of position. I messed up my timing, so that was a little bit squirrely there, but I managed to make it out. After this first big turret, you start on the left, go on the right to destroy those 3, and then I hang out at the top here to try to destroy as many of those as fast as possible. Now you're going to have 3 big turrets. You're not going to move out of the way until you hear those lasers fire at you. That way they don't accidentally cut you off. I managed to do a cutback so I don't have to activate my brake immediately, but end up doing so since I want to, still keeping mindful of my star count. So I want to get as big a multiplier as possible, and getting a double brake with the big multiplier is a great way to get stars, and the amount of firepower I get here really helps with this next section. We're going to have large tanks, another set of large turrets, and so it's very easy to sometimes get walled off here, which I did. I would have taken a hit, but I used my bomb right in time. One thing to keep note of is, if you're going to die, make sure I die, or you die with no bombs left, so don't die with a full bomb stock. With these ships, if you're in break mode, you can just use your shot and kind of milk those missiles for score and for stars, which is what I do here. Although it looks like the timer is going to go all the way to the next section, the timer does run out, so I'll have to reset my multiplier because I want to have my break mode as fast as possible. So here, I do a full lock-on, get an 8.4, which is not too bad. So I'll take it. I'm not going to get greedy here. I have my brake, I almost have a double brake, and I go back and forth, and eventually I'm going to want to end up on the left here, so that first big ship that pops up, I can destroy that one. If you destroy the 2 fast enough, the third one pops up, which is fine. I'm in double brake. So here you're going to have a large ship to the right. Since I'm in double brake mode, I can just focus it down and destroy it very quickly. Since I destroyed it quickly, the second one's going to pop up, but because I was still in double brake, I can still destroy it fairly quickly here. And then here, a whole bunch of ships are going to rush into you from the right side of the screen. And then you're going to get 3 sets of large tanks. So this is the first one. I'm in brake mode, and it's important to focus down those large tanks before too many of those bullets get on the screen. Here's the third one, and then now you get this ship with the floating turrets, which is very, very difficult, but I stream left to right, finding the gaps between the blue bullets, and then once those turrets are destroyed, then the rest of the enemies is easy to kill. So I decided to do a full lock-on because why not? Now we're heading to the stage 5 mid-boss. I get a full lock-on with these tanks here just because I want to make sure I have my double brake when it's ready. I hang out on the right, and you just go back and forth, and you listen with listen to when the laser is going to fire, and that'll tell you the rhythm of how fast you need to go back and forth. And before those bullets get to me, I activate a brake here. I'm not going to activate double brake because I want to have energy available for the next section, and so when the brake runs out, I get the bullet cancel, and that gives me enough time to destroy the boss here. Since I have a good amount of energy, I decide to do a bomb reset. I could have done the stars, but I did the bomb reset anyways. So now we get to the second half of stage 5, starting with the spider tank here. This could be a very difficult section because you have to dodge the bullets coming from the bottom. So this first pattern is fairly easier to dodge. And I have my brake on standby, and I have my finger hovering over the brake button in case I need it, which I'm preparing to use. The second pattern is more difficult. What I do is when I activate brake, I use the invul frames to go down and hit the boss momentarily with my main shot just to do some extra damage. keep in mind that if you do destroy the spider tank too quickly, a second one will show up, which will make things much more difficult. So you want to destroy the boss, or the tank, slow enough so that you don't get a second one spawning. Instead, I'll have these missile ships, which are easier to kill, and the screen will just keep scrolling up until I reach the set of large turrets that I'll destroy, because they'll shoot these blue bullets that can get kind of nasty. So now I get to the section where we have the mini stage 2 bosses. Hang on the right, go slowly in a U shape to the left here, activate break when I reach the left, and I go all the way back. I use a double break, and here I'm just mashing the lock-on button, and it gets very tight, but for the most part that is very consistent. Since I'm still in double break, I then focus down and try to speed kill the second one. The second one is, I would consider, the hardest one to kill here. It's in a really awkward position. I managed to do it, and I can see that I'm going to get walled off here, and I'm not going to take any chances, so I end up using a bomb. So one bomb from the second is pretty good. And now here it's a matter of prioritizing targets. So the first one is to destroy the tanks that are surrounding the third petal, or third hecaton. And the second one is to try to destroy the tanks that are coming in from the sides before they start shooting at you. I use a bomb here just to be on the safe side. Using a bomb gives me enough time for the screen clear to destroy the mini boss. So I'm looking at my star count. I have almost 400k stars, and I know that the stage 5 boss gives 50k stars when you defeat it as one of the upgrades, so I know for sure that I will get an extend if I can make it past this boss. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Here we have the floating turrets. All of these bullets are aimed at you, and so you can, to time the cutback, you go slowly on the bottom and then quickly up to the side, so you can create a gap for yourself. Don't be afraid to use a bomb, or if you get walled off, use your break. Dying in this section is pretty heartbreaking, so I ended up using my break, which puts me off route for the boss here, but the way I have it laid out, I can normally get a break when I need to. This first part, you're going to hug the boss and go in a U-shaped pattern so that you can misdirect those bullets, and that'll give you enough time to travel through the gaps here. And if you do it correctly, you won't even have to dodge that or break. And so now for this next section, you're going to count 1, 1000, 2, 1003, boom, 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1004, dodge again, 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1004, 1005, 1006, and 7. So it's 7 seconds. I messed up my timing very slightly, and I messed up there. Normally, I would be able to destroy this phase without having to activate break, and so my break timing was a bit early here. Because of that, I have to double break a little bit earlier than I wanted to for this section, which is fine. I prefer having a double break for this portion. It allows you to destroy those turrets faster. And so since I don't have my double break active, typically I would use the end of the break to get a screen clear, but I use a bomb instead. And I have another bomb coming up, so I'll use the second bomb just to be safe here. And I should get the kill here. Those last few pixels seem to take forever always with this phase. So I destroyed this boss. I'm going to get the star upgrade because I want that extend. So I'm entering the TLB with 3 extends. I'm feeling pretty good. In training, I usually practice training with 1 or 2 extends to kill this, so I'm in a good spot. This first pattern is very tricky. The spread is fairly random. Sometimes you'll get a good spread, sometimes you won't. I ended up bombing here because I got a pretty bad spread and I got walled off. This next one, all you need to do is time when the laser fires and go around in a circle here 3 times. That way the boss ends up towards the top for this pattern, which, although it seems random, the pattern is fixed, but it's very difficult to get a hang of it. So if you need to use a bomb, if you need to use a break, then do so. The density of the bullets increases over time, so I take a hit there because I didn't kill the boss in time. So I end up using bombs, use whatever resources you have to use. So now I'm at the second TLB with 2 extends. This first pattern, typically you bomb or break through it. Very, very tricky to dodge it. And then for this one, you slowly with the flow, and then you bomb once you get to the edge, and then stream slowly to the other side, and then try to time the cutback so you reach through here. Here is what I call a dance with the boss, so the bullets are all aimed at you, and you just strafe side to side to avoid those aimed bullets. Eventually the boss will come back up and reset with this first pattern here. So I bomb again because I don't want to get hit here. And then now we're at the final attack. So the final attack, I take a death immediately, which is pretty bad, but what you want to do for the final attack here is there are pockets that are created, and it's easier said than done, but you'll see little mini pockets, and the nerves are getting to me, so I got a little twitchy there, so I'm on my last life. One thing to do is, bomb when you need to, break when you need to. When you bomb, it's best to hold on to the lock-on shot until a few seconds after the boss's shield goes away. That way you can get a full lock-on attack. If you release the lock-on immediately when that shield goes away, the boss will still deflect your missiles, and so you'll lose that chance to attack. So the lock-on attack is very powerful in this portion. And with the TLB and the second TLB, a lot of it is, the training kicks in. So it's just practice, practice, practice. Once you get some of those patterns down, especially it's a bit tougher with the random patterns, but practicing the final attack, one thing I did was to not even shoot a bullet, and so to see how long I would last in the final attack. Generally, if you're doing damage and firing, the final attack portion takes about 30 seconds. So if you can last in training 30-40 seconds without firing or without losing a life, or maybe losing only one life, then you know that you can do it in the end. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.